There are moments when markets move because of earnings, moments when they move because of inflation, and then there are moments when law, politics, and global trade collide. And investors like you and me suddenly need a translator. We have reached one of those moments, but never fear, your Prime Capital Financial team is here. Stick around because we're going to get into it. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Terra McBride, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Prime Capital Financial. For more than 40 years, our firm has helped thousands of investors feel more confident in every step of their financial journey. Our clients are at the core of everything we do, and we believe empowerment begins with information, which is why we take the time to unpack the latest news and get to the important stuff that headlines simply cannot tell you. Last week, the Supreme Court delivered a major ruling on tariffs. In a 6-3 decision written by Chief Justice Roberts, the court ruled that the president had exceeded his authority when he imposed tariffs on nearly every U.S. trading partner last year. The High Court's decision not only reshapes trade policy, but it ripples through inflation expectations, corporate margins, supply chains, and ultimately your portfolio. So what does this actually mean? Is this a tailwind for markets, a policy pause, or simply the calm before the next round of trade volatility? To help us unpack the macro narrative and the portfolio reality, I'm joined by my favorite market whisperers, portfolio manager Clayton Allison and Chief Investment Officer Will McGuff. And before we move into questions, if you're seeking thoughtful, comprehensive, and dare I say creative financial guidance tailored to your unique situation, we are your people. Scan the QR code on the screen to speak with one of our financial professionals. Okay, let's get our decoder rings out to see what's signal, what's noise, and where opportunity may be emerging. Will, stepping back, does the Supreme Court's ruling meaningfully change the trajectory of global trade policy, or does it simply shift how tariffs get implemented rather than whether they exist?
Thanks, Tara. And that's a great question. Essentially, I think there's a little bit of tariff fatigue right now. We've been hearing about tariffs for over a year since Liberation Day. And at the end of the day, it's an administration policy. And whether it's called a tariff, they're pushing now, it could be called a license. It's just a tool for them to negotiate with other countries to try to get our trade balances in order. And I don't think the Supreme Court ruling is going to shift what the administration is going to do because the administration is going to do what they want to do.
Which was, I think, very clear on Saturday when new announcements were made about the
Right.
direction that we were heading in, right? So, Will, sticking with you, how should investors think about the second order effects here, particularly on inflation expectations, supply chain normalization, and the potential for renewed policy volatility?
Yeah, so I don't think there's going to be any renewed policy volatility. There's just going to be policy volatility. It's what we're going to get out of Washington, D.C., and have been couching our advisors and clients to expect and take advantage of volatility. With regards to inflation, and if tariffs or licenses, whatever they're going to be called, go up in percentage, it could be more transitory type inflation. But at the end of the day, inflation is a big thing that the Fed is watching along with employment. So inflation's getting a lot of looks right now, and I would expect its long term is going to get back towards average. It's just a matter of whether it's sooner or later.
Clayton, can you step in here? Which sectors or business models stand to benefit most from reduced tariff pressure, and where might the uncertainty actually create new risk rather than relief?
Yeah, great question, Tara. I mean, the main ones that people can probably think of right off the bat to, the average individual are the ones that are major importers of their products and goods. You see that a lot with e-commerce businesses, retailers, big box stores. I mean, it just came out recently that Costco was going to sue the government for a refund for all the tariffs that they had been paying on the imports of their products. You'll see that with Home Depot as well. So a lot of those major store retailers are probably going to be the ones that are going to get at least a little bit of a reprieve here. Now, the ones where uncertainty is still kind of up in the air are probably more of those industries that are impacted by more national defense oriented sectors. So things like metals, aluminum, automakers, things of that nature, because those tariffs are still going to be in place. Those ones had not been repealed because of the Supreme Court hearing. Those are still largely going to be, carried over into effect going forward. So it's still product specific, and you kind of have to weed through the details on that.
Yeah. All right, when policy outcomes remain fluid like this, Clayton, how do you balance tactical opportunity with long-term discipline inside portfolios?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It honestly just depends on what the strategy is and what the mandate and the objective is that we're trying to accomplish. Here at Prime, we're long-term investors. So if that strategy is not specifically designed for us to be moving tactically or taking opportunities, that are presented from this volatility, then we're not going to do it there. We're going to be guiding towards a long-term plan so that you can rest assured as to what you're invested in. Now, we do have some strategies that do that, but once again, it's going to be a case-by-case scenario, and really it comes down to talking with your advisor to making sure that strategy even makes sense in the broader context of your financial plan.
Yeah, we're always looking long-term, right? And I think finances can feel very emotional in moments like this, especially when it feels very volatile and it's hard to determine what's up and what's down. It's that long-term vision that an advisor can help bring, I think, that is really important. So that's a really great reminder, Clayton. Thank you. If this ruling reminds us of anything, it's that markets don't just react to data, they react to policy, power, and unpredictability. Tariffs may change form, legal frameworks may shift, and headlines will inevitably evolve, but disciplined investors don't let noise distract them for long. They stay anchored to strategy, diversification, and thoughtful risk management. That's exactly what Clayton and Will and our entire team help our clients navigate every single day. If you'd like to talk through what trade policy, inflation dynamics, or market volatility could mean for your portfolio, simply scan the QR code on your screen to connect with one of our financial professionals. And if you enjoyed today's episode, hit like and subscribe, please, to catch our regular commentary on what's happening behind the financial headlines. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay informed, stay invested, and as always, we'll be here to help you navigate the twists and turns of the market. Until next time.